Hey guys, happy Thursday. All right, so I decided to come in here to say hello. We've got some new members, so hi to the new members. And I wanted to thank you for everyone who's been weighing in on my little request that I had for you yesterday evening. You could scroll back and see that post. But I'm coming out with a dessert-only, holiday-themed cookbook. It's going to be downloadable and printable, so really easy access. No shipping worries or anything like that, and I'm super excited about it. And you guys have been helping me come up with a title because for some reason I'm just not feeling creative on the title, and I think titles matter. I love them. I love the play on words. I love when it's descriptive enough so that people understand what they're actually purchasing. So I'm really excited. The cookbook I don't have the exact date, but it will be available very early November. Because I want you guys to have enough time to get the cookbook and then start to plan like before Thanksgiving, well in advance, so that you know. A lot of us, we like to plan. Maybe we're going to have company over. We want to know what's on the menu, or maybe we're going to be going to somebody else's house and we want to bring something along with us. And these desserts are going to be such a perfect thing to bring along with you because I think of them as like a gateway into a healthier lifestyle. Don't get me wrong, I love real food, like I love lunch, dinner, savory things, I really do, but healthy desserts, like healthified desserts, get me so excited because I find that these are the things that you can share with your family and friends that might be a little bit more skeptical and sort of show them that, you know, there's no deprivation there. You can really enjoy these treats and with higher quality ingredients and things like that. So I'm really excited. If you want to scroll back at the post from yesterday evening, I think it was about 5 p.m. Eastern time that I posted it. It gives you a little bit more details, but basically all of the desserts are going to be gluten-free, dairy-free. Most of them, I'll say many of them, I think most of them really are vegan. Just some of them do have eggs and or honey, but they are all dairy-free. That's the way that we need to eat in my house. So that's really the recipes that I'm most interested in creating. I'm looking at one right now, so that's why I'm glancing off over here. I've got my laptop like right there. So they're all holiday themed. So all things pumpkin, gingerbread, chocolate, apple, carrot, what else? Cranberry, you know, all of those holiday comfort things that we think about. There's going to be something for everybody. I'm really excited about it. So look out for that. If you want to scroll back and help me with the title, I would really appreciate it. Any idea is a great idea because maybe I'll go with that one, or maybe that'll spark something else, or I'll end up combining two of your ideas. Who knows? So no idea is stupid. I appreciate every single bit of input. So thank you very much. Actually, let me show you. I've got one up here on the screen, so I may as well show you. This is like a mini pumpkin pie, a take on pumpkin pie. Again, all gluten-free, so there's no white flour, there's no refined sugar in any of this stuff. I have PCOS, so while some of this does have honey and maple syrup and things like that in it, I do stay away from refined sugars to make it a little bit less, lower in the glycemic index. So here is, look at that, you guys. So mouth-watering. So that's the update about the holiday cookbook. If you want to help me with the title, I would really appreciate that. And the other thing I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about is another tip. I guess it's really two more tips about forming new habits, because we've been talking about habits. Last week we were talking about breaking up with old habits that you want to sort of distance yourself from. And this week we've been talking about how to create a brand new habit from scratch. And so yesterday I did a video all about that. But today I wanted to add to it. I wanted to talk about our brain and how it's so important and how you can work with your brain in order to help you form a new habit or any sort of lifestyle change that you're looking to make. So the thing that I want to mention, and you'll hear me talk about a lot of these things, guys, over and over again, and it's because it's so important, and not all of you see every single thing that I put out there, so you will continue hearing me talk about the brain and how important it is. Yes, I'm a nutritionist. Yes, I'm a personal trainer, registered nurse, health coach. I really believe in all of that tangible stuff. I really believe in the actual nutrition and science and the actual fitness and biomechanics and all that stuff is really important. But if we cannot control our brain, if we cannot actually understand it and learn how to work with it, then all the knowledge in the world isn't going to matter, because you might know exactly what you want to do. You might have an awesome plan, but if you can't stick to it, if you can't be consistent with it, none of it matters, right? So that's important. Like, the working with our brain is really important. So here's what I want to mention. Our brain's wiring hasn't actually changed much since our ancestors' days, okay? Since when we were cavemen and cavewomen, this has been always what our brain wants to do. It's wired to survive, not necessarily to thrive in the environment that we have today. So our brain just wants to seek pleasure, avoid pain, and do so while expending as little energy as possible. So you can imagine, you can picture why that would have helped us to survive in the past, right? We are going out, we're hunting our food, we're gathering our food. We don't want to burn up extra calories because we might go through all the food, we might have a famine, we might not get to eat for a couple more days. So we want to conserve energy to do just the things that matter, which is to find our food, eat our food, make shelter, kind of have a community. Community has always been important, tribes and things like that, and to procreate. And you need energy for that. So that's what our brain wants to do. Seek pleasure, avoid pain, and do so without expending much energy at all. Guess what, you guys? It's 2019, it's almost 2020, a brand new decade is coming, and that's still the way our brain is wired. You hear me talk about this a lot when I talk about our toddler brain versus our adult brain. And I think that's a good way to picture it, because it kind of is these different parts of our brain where we still have that need for survival. It's just in our DNA. This is the way that our brain is wired. But then we also have this evolved brain, the adult brain. It's called the prefrontal cortex, but adult brain is easier to remember. And this is the part of our brain that can actually do reasoning and can actually look into the future. Oh, my battery's gonna die. I better wrap this up quicker. Can actually look into the future for future goals and start to plan accordingly, right? So this is the part of our brain that can actually help us as long as we tap into it going forward. We cannot rely on our adult brain ever being there in the moment. The toddler brain is the one that controls the moment, the here and now, okay? So avoid pain, seek pleasure, expend as little energy as possible. You can see where that trips us up a lot of times these days, right? Because when we're avoiding pain, we don't want to do anything that might change us, because change can be painful. It's uncomfortable. We don't want to exercise because that could be painful, or you could view it as painful for some people, right? You might feel self-conscious. You might be a little sore. You might sweat. You might lose time for other things. And we want to seek pleasure. We want to sit on the couch in front of the TV with our bowl of chips or whatever we've got going on, because that feels pleasurable in the moment. That's what we want in the moment. Here's the deal. The whole dieting mentality is butting up against the way that our brain is working. No wonder it doesn't work for anybody, right? We are like pretending that this whole scenario is not going on inside our brain, but it is. Why ignore it? Why not just address it? Why not just understand it and work with it? So when we try to diet, we restrict, we overly restrict, we feel deprived a lot of times. We just do it, just push it for the exercise. We might not ease into it. We might just try to go hard right out of the gate. All of these things that feel painful, both physically and emotionally, they feel painful, and they are the opposite of seeking pleasure. And they are the opposite of not expending a lot of energy, because it's expending a lot of energy. So we're going against our brain here. Here's what we need to do, 2 ways that we can work with our brain so that the changes that we want to make, the habits that we want to put in place, can actually stick. The first thing is that you need to let your brain feel pleasure around the change that you're making, because this way it might actually let you keep going with it. So if you make your brain feel pain, it's going to eventually just not let you do the thing that you're wanting to do. So here's how it works. Let's talk about deprivation for a minute. Deprivation is a state of mind. It's not a thing that occurs. If you say no to something that is in front of you or that's being offered, that doesn't mean that you're deprived. It's the way that you think about it that leads to deprivation. So let me give you an example of cigarettes, okay? If somebody puts cigarettes in front of me, I say no to them, I don't feel deprived. I don't feel deprived because I'm a non-smoker, okay? But let's look at two people who are smokers and are trying to quit, okay? Let's look at that scenario. So the one person can say no to the cigarette, and they might feel very deprived because they're like, oh, I want it so bad, I can't have it, right? They're just focusing on what they can't have. That's not pleasurable, right? They feel pain about that. Then there's the other person who thinks about that cigarette and they're quitting, and they say no to it and they feel empowered by it. They're like, oh man, I used to be somebody who would have taken it, and now I actually made a choice not to. It might have been a hard choice, but I really see my future non-smoking self coming through here, and they don't feel deprived about it. They actually feel proud of their decision. Okay, so that's not an easy place to get to, but it is a change in your mindset. Sorry, things are dinging over here. So deprivation is something that needs to be actively worked on. Shush, computer. You need to actively work on that. That's a process. That's not just something that I can teach you in this one short video here. But that's something to work on, so keep in mind. But also, you want to focus on the good in the choices that you're making. So rather than thinking about a choice that you're making as something that you can't have or feeling sad about it, connect to your why. Why are you deciding to make that choice? Because you can make whatever choice you want, right? Like you don't ever have to change your eating habits. You don't ever have to change your sedentary habits or anything like that. You don't have to. So why are you choosing to? Maybe you're looking to live longer, fight disease. Maybe you're looking to have better energy. Maybe there's something about your body that's feeling like it's not working the way that you want it to work. Maybe you want to, maybe you've got some certain other health goals, body goals, anything. When you think about that and you think about really why you're doing this, I want you to really visualize what your future will look like as you start moving towards that goal. And when you visualize it and it's really clear, how will you show up in your day when you're like that? As you move along in your journey, what is that going to feel like? What is it going to feel like when you get dressed in the morning? What is it going to feel like when you come home to your kids and your energy is better and your moods are lifted up? What is it going to feel like to be in a relationship in which you just feel a lot more positive and you're not just always looking for the negative? Those types of things. Think about in your actual day-to-day life what it will look like, feel like as you move closer to your goals. When you really connect with that well, then these choices that you're making can feel good because you can feel proud of yourself that you're making those choices, right? You can feel that you're taking one step closer to the goal that you have, the goal that's really, really clear in your mind. You're taking one step closer. So that eliminates the pain, or at least reduces the pain from that choice that you've made, and it also increases the pleasure. And by the way, when we're not resisting things, it uses up less energy too, less mental energy. So you're working with your brain here, totally. The other thing is once you have made that choice, so let's say once you have said you don't want the cigarettes and you connected to your why and you're feeling good about that choice, I want you to celebrate every time you act in accordance to the way that you wanted to act. Okay? You won't be perfect. You're not going to always make the choice that you had wanted to make, but sometimes you will. Even on your worst days, you will make a choice that's acting in accordance to the way that you want to be, moving you closer to your step. Maybe you went to bed early one night. Awesome. Sleep is important, right? Maybe you drank a glass of water. Maybe you walked instead of driving someplace or whatever. There's always something that you can find that you did and move you closer. You need to celebrate all of those wins. You don't have to tell the whole world about it. You can if you want. But in your own mind, I want you to think about it. Like, I'm really proud of that choice I made. No choice is too small to celebrate, and here's why. Not only does it feel good, but here's why. Your brain will start associating the good choices, so to speak, the choices that are moving you closer to your goals, with pleasure. They won't feel like bad choices. They will feel like pleasurable choices because you're actually patting yourself on the back all the time. Our brains love when we pat ourselves on the back. So you chose to eat the salad instead of the foot-long sub for lunch, whatever. Celebrate that. Your brain is going to start saying, oh, this is awesome. I start to get recognized when I make these types of choices. and it wants the pleasure and it wants to avoid the pain. And so you're working in accordance to your brain, your chemistry, your neuroscience, okay? All that nerdy stuff that really matters that most people in nutrition and fitness are just simply not talking about. So I hope that helped with you guys today. I hope you can celebrate a choice that you make today, no matter how big or small it is. And I hope that you start to incorporate that as you're looking to change up some old habits or incorporate some new habits in your day. If this was helpful, please tell me in the comments. So I like to keep kind of like a running tally on the types of subjects and the things that really matter to you guys, so I make sure that I create more content like that for you in the future. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.